Shakespearean sonnets. If you listen to the podcast, you know that Shakespearean sonnets are famous because they are love songs, love poems with a very specific structure. We love free verse poetry today, but what makes sonnets so famous is that their strict structure limits the poet to expressing themselves. We are so impressed with Shakespearean sonnets because William Shakespeare was able to express himself within 3 quatrains and 1 couplet, only using iambic pentameter and through a very strict rhyme scheme. If you are looking at the words quatrain, couplet, iambic pentameter, and this type of rhyme scheme, and you don't know what I'm talking about, I encourage you to pause this video and look at the Quizlet Miss K posted for you. It will review and define each of these terms. These terms are integral to 1, understanding sonnets and crafting sonnets, because you need to know the guidelines before you can create one. For those of you who are familiar with these words, let's do a quick review. Quatrain. Quat means 4. So in poetry, a quatrain is a group of 4 lines. This is quatrain 1. This is quatrain 2. And this would be quatrain 3. Every Shakespearean sonnet only has 3 quatrains to express oneself. So if we pretended that this sonnet was full of poetic words instead of squiggly lines, we would have 3 complete quatrains. The second structural rule is that you have to have 1 couplet. Couplet, we can think of like couple, like I have a couple of friends who love to read sonnets. Couple means 2. The last 2 lines are a couplet. Each quatrain and couplet tackles a different subtopic of what the poem should be about. In the podcast, we talked a little bit of iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter is the beat of the words, how they sound together, and how some syllables are stressed and some syllables are unstressed. Iambic means unstressed and stressed. This is a type of syllable combination. An iambic word, for instance, would be hello. The way we say hello in the English language is hello. We stress the last syllable. The first syllable is unstressed. Same with goodbye. We stress the last syllable. So if we understand what iambic means, pent means 5. So 5 times a meter, a line. So we have 5 sets of iambic syllables in a line. So this sonnet would read da-na, 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 da-na on each line. That's how every sonnet must sound for it to be a Shakespearean sonnet. And finally, let's talk about rhyme scheme. Each letter represents the last syllable in each line. They are broken up into 3 sets, just like the 3 quatrains and 1 couplet at the end. The first line of every quatrain rhymes with the 3rd line of each quatrain. The second with the 4th. Same with quatrain 2. The first line rhymes with the 3rd line, and the second line rhymes with the last line. This E line will rhyme with this E line, and the F line will rhyme with the F line. And the 2 lines in the couplet, we use the same letter to represent that they rhyme with each other. Here is Sonnet 18, or Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? I also have the paraphrase to help you understand it. But let's just look at the original sonnet. Can you identify the 3 quatrains and the 1 couplet? The couplet's the easiest. Let's just go to the end. Here we go. 2 couplets, 2 lines. They rhyme. This is the couplet. Now, we just have to count 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quatrain 1, quatrain 2, quatrain 3. Each are also a little bit different. This one is talking about how he wants to compare her to a summer's day, but the summer is not as beautiful as her. This talks about how often nature loses its beauty. And this quatrain, the third one, talks about how, well, really, his love's beauty never changes, so he cannot compare her to nature. And the last couplet talks about how, through this poem, she will be immortalized as well as their love. Now, can you find the iambic pentameter? Let's see if I can read it out loud and label it as I go. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. It is no surprise that the most famous Shakespearean sonnet follows the two structural components of iambic pentameter, 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. Now let's see if we can find the rhyme scheme here, the classic Shakespearean sonnet rhyme scheme. Remember, the first line of a quatrain always needs to rhyme with the third, the second line with the last. Let's see. Day does rhyme with May. Temperate does rhyme with date. If you say temperate, you pronounce it like that. Shines does rhyme with declined. Dimmed rhymes with trimmed. Fade rhymes with shade. Oust rhymes with groused. And C rhymes with G. Now that you have seen the structural components, the quatrain, the couplet, the iambic pentameter, and the rhyme scheme in action, I would like you to move on to creating your own sonnet. Read the directions for the assignment and watch the screencast to help you know how to turn it in. If you are still struggling with these vocabulary words, look at the Quizlet and feel free to email me with any questions. Have a fun time creating your sonnets.